Good evening. Welcome to the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Well, another sham impeachment trial starts on February the 8th against our beloved President Donald J. Trump. If President Biden doesn't call for it all to stop and to end, and is my advice to you, President Biden, stop this garbage, because all it's going to do is cause much more division. And as you stated in your inaugural address, you wanted unity. You're not going to have unity with these things continuing to go forward. Judge Roberts even refused to even preside over another sham impeachment put up by Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, because they are just trying to prevent President Donald J. Trump from having a second term if or when he runs again in 2024. I don't know where all this is going, but the presumed is not a very good place. The Democrat Party and some Republican Party members who have forgotten their constituents faltered to the side of the fantasy impeachment in the Congress. Let's pray it doesn't happen in the Senate. I just wish that someone who are going along, some are just going along to get along, not sacrificing the constituents in their attempt on inaction. And they're sacrificing their constituents if they do not speak up and represent the people who placed them in office. There are a lot of people upset. Republican Party, those of you who are in office right now, you have 2 years. If you don't get it straight, you may be looking at somebody else, and hopefully it'll be another conservative or somebody else in a party that we may be creating. Anyway, I've known some bullies in my day. I was picked on when I was a very small child. I was, believe it or not, I'm a little big guy now, but I was a very small little boy. I was a little boy. And what would happen is I was picked on by a young guy, same age as me, was a much bigger student in the 3rd grade. But I warned him, if he continued, I would get my big brother involved. And then he punched me in the nose, gave me a bloody nose. But my big brother got a hold of him. He wished he'd never put his hand on me. But our big brother, Donald J. Trump, has now been moved out of office. Not by our means, but by what I believe to be the means of people who thought to cheat in our election process. President Trump was like a big brother. He stood up for the little guy, those of us in America who felt like we had no mic, we had no voice. And he attacked them by standing up for us. But he has moved away for a while. So the Republican Party, you are going to stand up for the American people, or you're going to be looking for a job in 2 years. Just go along to get along will no longer work in this present government, because the Republican Party, we must put things in order. We cannot just sit back and take it as it comes. Take it on the chin, as it were. If you want to I gave an example many years ago in a message I gave to a congregation. I told them, you stand up and let somebody continue to punch you. I don't care if you're the biggest and the strongest fighter that's out there. If you stand up and let a little guy, continue to punch you, guess what? Eventually, if you take no action, Republican Party, you will be knocked out. And you think it's bad now with the Democrats in charge of the House, the Senate, and the executive branch. It ain't going to be nothing compared to what's going to happen in 2022 if we do not get this matter under control. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with you here on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. As I said to you before, impeachment trial is supposed to begin on February 8th. This is pure foolishness because the president is already gone and he was peacefully stepped down from office. Senate leaders struggled to agree on keeping the filibuster practice. So what I say to them, in the way we actually already see, because Chuck Schumer seems to be kind of leaning toward letting it continue, because the fact of the matter is this: if you put it away, guess what? We have no obligation to bring it back in 2 years. If you put it away, then you will no longer have the ability to filibuster either. So we're doing a lot of things in this country, Democrat Party on your side of the fence, where you're going to cause yourself all kinds of problems. You make impeachment the talk of the day, and guess what? Somebody's going to stand up for the Republican Party. Some of those chickens out there in the House of Representatives that will not stand up or will go on the side of somebody that's telling big lies, eventually we're going to replace you. In 2 years, you're coming up for re-election. And I've been sending out the list of those of you who agree with this second sham impeachment. You don't pay attention to what's going on. Moving on. The labor union the labor unions are angry, especially the one that is in Alaska. They're angry with the energy policy of the Biden administration. But labor unions endorsed Biden and are experiencing what President Donald J. Trump continued to warn them about Joe Biden and his policies. I told you Biden lied during his campaign, and now he's doing exactly what President Trump said he would do. Exactly. Every policy, everything that President Trump said, he's going to do this. You know why they knew it? Because they were anti-Trump. They were against Trump. The policies that President Trump still wore were for the American people, to keep us employed, to keep our energy costs low, to keep us in our jobs. That's the policies he put in place, to keep our taxes down. So what happened? Joe Biden stepped in on the first day and took a machine gun, took his, what did he call it, AR-14? Took that out against all of the policies that help the American people. Of course, I think it's an AR-15. Anyway, let's move on. The United Association of Union Plumbers, which black Democrat president released a statement over the weekend which said, sadly, the Biden administration has now put thousands of union workers out of work. Well, United Association of Union Plumbers, what did you expect? You should have been listening to President Donald J. Trump. You were lied to. What did I say before? You lied down with a rattlesnake, you're going to get bit. I'm sorry, you're going to get bit. If you lie down with a rattlesnake, remember the bite is coming. And he's got a lot more garbage behind him coming over. You know what? I don't think, and we'll talk about this in a minute, because I think we have the most dangerous president in the history of this country. They always kept calling Biden that, not Biden, but President Donald J. Trump that. But let me tell you something. I told you this before. When people are lying, when people are cheating, when people are doing wrong things, they always point the finger at somebody else. Oh, they did it. Or they made me do it. Or he made me do it. Or that person made me do it. When I tell you, those that are pointing the fingers, calling you racist, they're saying it's a racist country. And I thank God for people who have guts, like this young lady, I can't remember the state, but she came out against this, this race policy. I forgot what they called it, darn thing. It's so stupid. This race, they're teaching now in the high schools, they're teaching children that everybody's racist, making them identify themselves for their ancestry. Give me a freaking break. Well, she's coming out and suing that school district for even allowing this garbage to be taught in our schools. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with you here in a moment on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Well, Congressman Jim Jordan appeared on a Newsmax program called Spicer and Company yesterday talking about the upcoming impeachment hearing on February 8th in the Senate. He plans to defend our former sitting President Donald J. Trump in the media, because they will allow him to say anything in the Senate. I can guarantee you that. He's a congressman. Well, we hope and pray that he does run for Senate, because I think the senator in his state is retiring in Ohio. He also said something I hope you listen to, and I posted an article. I posted this on my page. If you want to stop by there, it's ctmbcv.dc. That's ctmbcv, V like in Victor, .dc. That's my Facebook page to the Black Conservative Voice. He said this. He said the only charge that they're charging President Donald Trump with is inciting people to perform what they call an insurrection. He said that it already had been found out by the Insurgency USA leadership, BLM and Antifa, told to the FBI, confessed to the FBI and the DOJ. You don't see stuff like this in the mainstream media. The attack was planned weeks before, this gentleman said, who was over the whole mess, on January 6th. They had been planned by these groups. Well, we have a mainstream lying media that will not report stuff in order. They lied to you, people. What did I tell you? They even show it on TV as a lie. They'll show you President Trump talking. He's talking about peaceful. What's the name? Well, they cut it when he says peaceful. They don't want that to be heard. They said that he incited the riots or whatever. Now those who they claim that were part of the Trump thing that was going on are still rampaging. That's BLM, Antifa, and Insurgency America. The way, regardless of how the MSM or mainstream media is portraying this, he says the speech occurred while President Trump was actively speaking at the rally. I'm sorry. The breach occurred while President Trump was still speaking at the rally. Now, you look at the media, you see this one, they bring this thing later on, like after, somewhere in between where the whole thing is going on, and you think that it occurred after the fact when he's telling the people to go march peacefully at the Capitol. But according to Representative Jordan, it took place, people, during President Trump's speech at the rally. It wasn't even over. The people there had not even started making their way to the Capitol. So what did I tell you? There's two different groups. The first group was involved with BLM, Antifa, and Insurgency USA. They came dressed like Trump supporters to infiltrate. Even when this young man was recorded lying, and not lying, but recorded saying that he was involved, and he broke the glass and broke it to the Capitol. Even when he was saying it, they showed him, people. You don't see these things because you don't want to see it. Those of you who are not conservative and don't understand what's going on. You don't see it because you don't want to see it. This man was wearing a Trump hat, Trump attire, stuff that followers of President Trump had on that day, even as he came back to his town in Utah. They arrested this man in Utah. The FBI arrested him because somebody saw him. They videotaped him saying exactly what it takes. He had just got back into the city, probably supported by the Democrat Party, sending him there to create this false narrative, as they have been doing for years, people. They wanted to get rid of President Trump before. And this crap saying that this election was not a fraud, I'm not going to say anything about that. But I believe our president was cheated out of his re-election. Let's put it that way. President Trump was still speaking, people. He was still in that rally speaking, those of you who only watched on TV. This sham impeachment they are propagating for inciting insurgency is just that, a sham, another sham, illegally done to legally prevent a former president from rerunning for office again. That's the only thing about it, people. They don't want him to run again because they know that you elected him in the first place. 75 million people. And what they're worried about is they're not going to be able to cheat the next time. So we're going to take a short break. You're watching The Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. We'll be right back with you in a moment. Welcome back. You're watching The Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, The Voice of Truth. Well, Mr. President Biden, if you want to have any unity or peace over the next 4 years, you need to tell the senators to stop this impeachment garbage from going forward. It's not legal. It's illegal. They're accusing somebody of something that they did not do. If the Senate agrees to this, we need to vote all the jack butts out of office come next election. So gladly, I'm pointing this out. President Trump left office peacefully. He did not incite any riot. That riot that breached the Capitol, people, which we were lied to in the media. Even I was deceived until I heard the actual representative say that he was there at the House of Representatives and he heard about it, that President Trump was still speaking when this Capitol building was breached. He hadn't even finished his message. So if he hadn't finished his message, what did I tell you? They delayed, they showed you his message, then they showed the riots. Even if he said peacefully, made no difference what he said. They were trying to create a narrative so the American people would believe this garbage. And unfortunately, some of you did. I feel sorry for you if you did, because they're just using more deceptive tactics to destroy our country. Let me tell you something else, and this is happening recently, and it's going to continue to happen. BLM doesn't care about BLM, Antifa, Insurgency USA. They will tell you themselves. They hate the government. They hate this country. They hate its people. They don't care about the Democrats. They don't care about the Republicans. And let me tell you something. They wanted to show the Democrats something. The Democrats thought they were doing so good, whatever, not doing anything, but they were doing what they're doing. Guess who they started attacking first? The Democrats. They're attacking their houses, attacking their country. Their parts of the country, the states that they're in, Wisconsin, Chicago City, Chicago, killing people. And here they are claiming that the Trump parties and Trump, when the Trump people had their rallies, they were always peaceful. They didn't do anything. Does anybody say anything about the gentleman who had a Trump thing on? He was going to his car to get some stuff, and he was gunned down in a parking lot just because he believed in what President Trump stood for? People, we better wake up, and I mean the entire country, not just the Republican Party, not just the Democrats, but all of our constituents, the constituents out here as well. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. Joe Biden, in his first event, his first signing, he walked off that inauguration stage and killed thousands of American jobs. Joe Biden, on the first day, continues to say, I'm going to bring back America better. Better for who? Who is the question? I would venture to say for the Democrats in the government. Their house of cards will fall. It's going to fall because the people are going to realize what the heck is going on. He killed hundreds of jobs, and even in Wisconsin, where they cheated to put him in office. Pardon me. I didn't say the other word, but I believe they cheated. He killed hundreds of jobs. President Trump told you he was going to do it. Mainstream media and all of you who's on social media, don't worry. They're coming after you too. You think they're not? They're coming after you too, social media. They are coming after you. The Democrats don't want anybody to have a voice over them, including you. You think you're restricted now? Wait until they get a hold to you. If we can prevent it, I guess we better. With the stroke of President Joe Biden's sleepy pen, He destroyed thousands of jobs. I don't think he had any idea what he was signing. I believe Pelosi and Schumer just set the stuff on there for him, and they're just telling him what to do. He is the most dangerous puppet in this country's history. In this country we have ever known. Pelosi and Schumer and the Democrat Party are the puppet masters. And I venture to say it's pretty much just Pelosi and Schumer pulling his strings. I really believe he is oblivious to what is going on because he signs these orders. I don't think he has any idea what's going on with the orders he's signing, people. I really think he's mindless. I think he doesn't know what he's doing. I believe not to be against him. I know I have family members had strokes and stuff like that before. And they do not maintain their whole brain capacity. It damages the brain. And I believe that Sleepy Joe has issues. He has dementia. But the problem is they're going to just keep him out there until they can claim, Nancy Pelosi is going to claim that he's incompetent. Watch and see. I hate that this is going to happen. I don't even know what this country's going to look like when he gets kicked out of office. And then he turns around and says he is going to bring back America better when the answer, bring back America better. When? What is the answer to that? When is he going to bring it back better? Like most Democrats, when he leaves office, that's when it'll be better. So before he brings back a better America that President Trump already brought to us, he has to destroy the first one. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and then we're going to go ahead and close here. Matter of fact, no, I think I better take a break before I tell you this. This is going to be my closing statement. We'll be right back with you here in a moment on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth, and I'm David Colbert. Now, as I told you before the short break, I told you that President Trump has already brought America back. Yet President Biden is destroying America. Let me tell you something about the statement that now sitting President Biden keeps saying, I'm going to bring back America better. Think that. Put that in your mind. Put it in your thinking cap, as they used to tell us in school when I was coming up. Put it in your thinking cap and think about this a moment. Just a thought. When a company wants to create a new store or offer something new or else anew in its place, what do? Well, I had a bank recently and they are building a new building. What do? How can you bring it back better unless you destroy what is already there? He is tearing down the old store and trying to build a new one, which he calls better. What is better than what we've had? The greatest economy in the history of America, the lowest unemployment, the greatest economy pretty much in the world. What is better than that? What's going to make anything better than that? When you step up and you destroy it with a stroke of a pen. The question is, can we survive the walls falling down around us and the ceiling caving in on our heads? Can we survive it? Can the American people survive this president? I urge the Republican Party to put in articles of impeachment. I know that Representative Green wants to. We need to stand behind him. Even if it's a failed process in the House of Representatives, do it anyway. Keep doing it. Make them take it to a vote, because I guarantee you the proof will be there. If they have to have hearings, and we're allowed to have hearings, which we should be, because these people speak for the American people, then we're going to hear the evidence that they keep trying to hide. That's what they don't want. And I speak to Representative McCarthy. McCarthy, you need to get off of it, buddy. You need to get on it. If you can push an impeachment articles through, go ahead and do it. They did it to President Trump, or were you even for President Trump, or were you one of these idiots that stood up against him, not realizing that he is the one that brought you behind back to office? If he hadn't stood behind you, those millions of American people that voted Congress back in and gave us 15 more seats would not have done it. Stop thinking you are so good that you exceeded the one who has put you back in office. Republican Party, I'm mainly talking to you. They put you back in office and they kept out a lot of the Democrats. They would have continued had that idiot, Mitch McConnell, had stuck with his party and quit the foolishness there in the Senate. Well, I've said enough, but I want to thank you for joining us here on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network. Please let me know what you think in our comments. And also, go to our YouTube page at CTM News and push subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified when our programs hit the air. We have some wonderful programs that are coming forward. They are programs that talk about healthy eating and healthiness for the soul. We have the Ambassador Report. We have Raina Rose, Soul Nutrition, and Capital, I forgot what Capital Talk. Please forgive me if I forgot the name of the show. But here we have the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. But I just want to thank you for joining us here today. And please, like I said, check us out on YouTube at CTM News. And we'll be coming to you soon on cable TV. But until then, I want to say this to you, as I always like to say, God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. Until next time, this is David Colbert saying good night and God bless.